All right, welcome everybody. Today we're going to be talking about statistical questions. And what is a statistical question? That is a great question. Statistical questions are questions that generate a variety of answers. That means there is not just one correct answer. You see that red line, you know what that means. Go ahead and pause that video and write this down in your notes. These types of questions have a bunch of different answers. It's not just like, how tall is Mr. Elgin? Because that would just give you one answer. It'd be like, how tall is every teacher at this school? And it doesn't matter how big the answer is. You could be like, how many people were at the Charlotte Hornets game? Even though it's going to be a large number, that's still just one answer. That is not a statistical question. However, if you said, how many people were at each NBA game last night? That would be statistical because it'd be a bunch of different answers. Also, going in your notes, make two columns, statistical questions and not statistical questions. Here's your first example. Notice the one on the left would have a bunch of different answers. The one on the right, Joe, whoever Joe is, would probably just have one favorite color. That's just one answer. That is not statistical. Pause the video as you need to write this stuff down. The next one, we already kind of talked about heights. If you ask for the heights of all sixth graders, that'd be a bunch of different answers. This would just give you one answer, is Rakim would just have one height. And an explanation at the bottom, what makes each on the left statistical and what makes both of those not statistical on the right. The left side has a bunch of different answers, the right side, only one answer. Pause the video if you need more time. We are moving on. If we go through these to yourself, give yourself a thumbs up for statistical or thumbs down for not statistical. What was everyone's test score in this cohort? That would be yes or S or thumbs up statistical because probably not everyone got the same score. That'd be a bunch of different answers. What about how tall is Mr. Smith? Not statistical, just one answer. How many years have teachers at Coolwood worked at this school? That would be statistical because not every teacher has worked the same amount. That would give us a bunch of different answers, a variety of answers. What is Mr. Mackey's favorite football team? Hopefully said not statistical. You are right because that is just one answer. The next one, how many pets do sixth grade students have at Coolwood? That is statistical because not everyone's going to have the same amount. And last but not least, how many people were at the Carolina Panthers game? Hopefully you said N or thumbs down, not statistical, because even though it's probably a large number, it is still just one number, aka one answer. We're moving on from statistical questions to how we can represent statistical questions. And today we're going to be talking about dot plots. However, later on we'll be getting into histograms and box and whisker plots. But we've already kind of taught about dot plots in the past. Dot plots can be represented by dots or X's or kind of any kind of icon that is listed on a number line. Where most of the data is called the cluster. Where one is over by itself, the kind of loner, that's called the outlier. And then the space between the cluster and the outlier is called the gap. If you want to write that down, you can, or just take a mental snapshot of it. This is where most of the data is. That guy over there is the outlier, in between is called the gap. Okay, so if you had questions with these, if it said how many total people were surveyed, what would you do with all these X's? Well, you would just count them. If you said how many people were surveyed, count each X, and there are 19 total X's, meaning 19 people were surveyed in this question, whatever the question was. The next one, what was the most common answer? Well, we would find which one has the most X's, which is what? That guy right there, that would be number one, or whatever one was, that is the most common answer. Last but not least, how many people answered more than one? So that means this column and this column doesn't matter because those two are not more than one. 2, 4, and 12 are more than one. So you count the number of X's that are all greater than 1 here, and then do this column, that column, that column. You count them all up, and that would give us 8 total X's, aka 8 total responses. That was it. Super quick day, super easy day to get back into the swing of things. Go ahead and get into Canvas and knock out this assignment. And per usual, this is what you do when you're done. Make sure you answer the X tag as well. Welcome back.